Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tasty Trails Travel Pod. My biggest weakness when it comes to dessert is gelato and ice cream. Seriously, it is actually a problem sometimes. And that is exactly what we're talking about today, which I'm super excited about. Brought to you in partnership with Giapo, all the way over in Auckland, New Zealand, which I have personally been to myself, and it is delicious. Today I'm talking with Gianpaolo Grazioli, who's been making ice cream in Auckland for almost 18 years at his shop Giapo, alongside with his wife Annarosa. This one gets into a debate that you didn't even know you had an opinion on, a very New Zealand origin story, and what it's like to still be learning something new after almost 2 decades of doing it every single day. Quick heads up before we dive in, my video's been a little bit glitchy lately, and I almost didn't post the video version of this, but it is nice to have video, and Gianpaolo's is fine. So I guess just apologies in advance for when my face freezes for like half of the interview and a very awkward and unflattering view of my face. So it is what it is. But anyway, yeah, let's go. Hi, Gianpaolo. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Katie, and hello, everyone. Very nice to be here today with you, and thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you. So, can you start off by telling everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
So, my name is Gianpaolo, and I am with my wife the founder of Giapo in New Zealand. Almost 18 years ago, we started this ice cream business called Giapo that set to change how people would experience ice cream.
And I will say that I was in Auckland in 2018 with my friend, and we made sure to take a special stop to go eat the ice cream, and it was delicious. So I'm so excited to talk to you more about it. But I wanted to back up and kind of go more to the beginning, and let's talk a little bit about like gelato. You being Italian and everything, gelato is just so famous and out of, whenever I see people go to Italy, all their Instagram stories are always like, oh, on my third gelato of the day. And it's just such a strong part of Italian culture, and also a huge thing about what everybody loves when they go to Italy as well to experience. What like to you? What do you think makes Italian gelato like so delicious and so special?
For me, it's about freshness. Very simple. So, if the ice cream is done today, it tastes better than if it's done yesterday or the day before or a week older. And this is really what it is for me. The ingredients, of course, and the recipe, but if we fix the recipe and you and I, we play the same recipe and we use the same ingredients, but you make your ice cream 5 days ago and I make it today, then my ice cream is better than yours, or vice versa. So when it comes down to what makes it better, freshness wins. Whether Italian made is better than, I don't know, American or New Zealand, Australian, well, I don't think so. I think every country has got their own special things. And in example, I'm currently in California and I find some incredible ingredients here that I cannot find in Italy, I cannot find in New Zealand. But when I'm in New Zealand, I have some incredible ingredients that I can only have there because that's the country that makes them, and when I'm in Italy, it's the same. So really, it depends on the country where you are and the ingredients that you want to play with. But in regards of what makes it better, my answer should be pretty clear for everyone. It's freshness. And so it comes down to investing in wanting to make ice cream every day fresh. Because otherwise, ice cream doesn't really expire in -18, so you can keep it in your freezer and store it for months. The ice cream that you buy at supermarket has been made months and months ago. And that would be an incredible way to save money, especially at this time, as you know, where labor costs so much.
Yeah, for sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. And what kind of got you into loving both ice cream, gelato, kind of, in that realm of things? Like, what made you fall in love with that?
Okay, to be honest, at beginning we wanted to open a restaurant, but we really didn't have enough money to get to a restaurant. So we opened a small little gastronomy, bit of a dessert place, and we were doing cold dessert, some sandwich, but no one was buying anything. Nobody was coming. Maybe the location, maybe the product, not a good fit for where we were. So first of all, we found a small spot. And so the small spot that we had on Queen Street wasn't really fit for much because it was really tiny. And for the first 3 or 4 months, we weren't really selling anything. So we were really depressed and mostly kind of ready to give up and then call it a failure. Then my wife spotted the idea that summer was coming and we were making tiramisu and other Italian desserts. But she said, "But why don't we try with some ice cream?" And I said, "Okay, we have a small machine. We can try. We had to do something. Otherwise, everything would have been lost. And it would have been a major drama." And so we put it in practice. We bought a cabinet and we started making very small quantity ice cream. And we saw that people understood better what we were trying to do. Sometimes, what we were trying to do at the beginning with the food was trying to tell people that were not that interested about our own culture of Italian food and Italian desserts. But the match wasn't really there. And so ice cream is essentially a language that I think is spoken in any culture, from Japan to Mexico, really across the world, Italy, Greece, you name it, all China know it. Everyone knows it. And it's the same thing, and everyone actually has been enjoying it the same way in a cone or in a cup. Different flavor, different taste, but the idea, the feeling of having something cold, possibly sweet or close to it, that you can have it as a dessert. It's global. Probably it's most global thing with the bread, bread, coffee, ice cream. And so we tried really, we were very naive, very, very naive. And that's where we are today. We grew up and we have evolved and evolved and evolved. And fun enough, you smile. Now, 18 years later, for the first time, we are back to where we were when we started. So today we are doing sandwiches and some other small bits and pieces of the Italian gastronomy, like a lasagna or a small pizza, because we realized that the people that come to us were asking for it, especially because we are a gluten-free family. The whole four of us are gluten-free.
Oh, wow.
And so we are offering a specific, totally dedicated gluten-free heaven to anyone who is in the city of Auckland, New Zealand. So this is really what it is.
Yeah, it's come full circle. And yeah, getting your foot in the door was something that's like so delicious. What was your first flavor that you guys made?
I think it must have been stracciatella.
I mean, classic.
Which is an Italian classic, you can't be wrong. And so we did the stracciatella, and I remember the taste. Maybe there must be a photo of me somewhere in the archive on some old iPhone, I don't know. That I was tasting it. And I think the second one that we tried was pistachio straight away. Pistachio, and then we did the hazelnut. I remember that we were playing with these three ones, and then everything else.
Oh, that's so great. So what is the difference between Italian gelato and what you are doing?
Honestly, there is no difference. There is no difference between Italian gelato because the Italians that have invented it, they do not have the second word for ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
For us living in English-speaking country, we have two words, gelato and ice cream. Mm-hmm. The Italians, they don't. The South Americans, they only have one word, gelato. And I think it's same for France. It's called glace or glacé, something like that. I don't have the French pronouns, but the ice cream that we usually buy at supermarket is called the same way as we call the gelato, the gelato that we can buy from an artisan. So that tells you the story. Now you say, Giapo, but the bureaucrats and the people that make the law, they say that ice cream must have 10% of dairy fat and this and that. And I say, yeah, you're correct. If you want to call it ice cream, for certain countries, like I believe New Zealand and Australia and I think America, you need to have at least 10% of dairy fat. But that does not change the fact that I can call it gelato all the same, even though, the recipe may end up being different. But the ingredients, Katie, are exactly the same. Milk, cream, sugar, vanilla, chocolate. You see, eggs. The good ingredients are always there. Now, what you do with them, how you put the recipe together, how long you store it, how old it is when you come and have it, the machines that you use. Well, that change and may change and will change the final product that we are gonna taste. But that does not change the fact that in reality they are made by the same molecules. They are same thing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So how have you incorporated New Zealand into it? You were talking about earlier about all of the different ingredients and, using local things. And so what about either New Zealand or the North Island or Auckland specifically? How does that show up in your ice cream?
We embraced New Zealand culture as much as we could. And what it showed up is that one of the main elements of the New Zealand culinary tradition is Hokey Pokey. Hokey Pokey is an ice cream that was invented by a person about 50 years ago or so that used to live in Dunedin, which is a city at the farthest point south of New Zealand, so close to Antarctica almost. Very, 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 very south. That used to live and work close to, I believe, an old Cadbury factory. Cadbury is the chocolate company. And this guy spotted that the Cadbury people, 50 years ago, they were throwing away honeycomb, as in crunchy bars. The yellow part of a crunchy bar. And so he spotted that this crunchy bar was going to waste. We're going to waste. And I think he made the face and he went and asked if he could have it. The guy was starting up his own ice cream company back in the days. And he had the brilliant idea of breaking up these crunchy bars or honeycomb and then little by little put it inside the ice cream. And so that's the idea where the Hokey Pokey come from. Why it's called Hokey Pokey, there are many theories. But I'm Italian and I go for this one. The Italians do say ecco un poco, which means have some.
Mm-hmm.
So Hokey Pokey could be a slang, kind of a slangy translation of ecco un poco.
Okay.
As in a way of having some, because possibly some Italians that immigrated Italy for America or North Europe to make ice cream will do so out of their cart and say to people, have some, ecco un poco, you have some. So I think that must have been the reason why. I cannot associate it with the song, even though I like the song, the Hokey Pokey.
I was gonna ask.
But I don't think it has anything to do with that. No. So, I don't know.
And so you were making that flavor, or that's just like a flavor that now kind of it can be found everywhere in New Zealand, or?
So that flavor can be found everywhere in New Zealand, but I don't think there is anyone that does it the way we do traditionally and fresh by making the honeycomb fresh, handmade, and the ice cream itself. Of course, that's not all that we do to embrace New Zealand. The season, the terroir, the provenance of everything we do belongs to New Zealand. Everything we do belongs to New Zealand. The things that we don't buy from New Zealand are things that you can count on the fingers of your hand. And can be chocolate and vanilla, even though the vanilla comes from Fiji, which is really our next neighbor up, But chocolate, we don't make it. There is some production in Samoa, which is quite close, but not enough and not in a way that can fulfill us. So all the fruit, all the nuts, and everything else, it's New Zealand. Of course, the incredible milk and cream that we have, the blessing that we have with our dairy, and it's all New Zealand. So I would say 90% of everything is New Zealand. And then what is not from New Zealand comes from very, very close around us. And that makes us embrace the country as we embrace the season. When it's winter, I don't know, we have Tamarillo, or we start playing with Fijoa, which is like a green big guava. I don't know if you had it when you came to New Zealand, Katie.
No.
But when it's summer, of course, we have all the stone fruits and the berries, which are incredible, the blueberries, strawberry, boysenberries, and the nuts, of course. We have hazelnut. That I think that the best hazelnut in the world for taste.
Oh.
They're just incredible, and they come from Christchurch. And
Okay.
we hooked up with this farmer many years ago, and we still buy from them.
Can you talk a little bit more about the dairy in New Zealand? So is that like what makes it so special? I don't really know anything about that.
Very simple. The cows eat the grass. That's it. So we don't have paddocks where the cows are closed in and they need to eat what they need to eat. Every cow in New Zealand is grass fed, and that makes it what it is.
Yeah, for sure. And so you're saying you're changing the flavors and stuff kind of as the seasons change, just going with what's available. And do you like kind of make up new flavors every year, or like what's your kind of creative process?
We make new flavors every week. We've been doing so for 18 years. So every week there is a new release and a new drop.
Every week?
Every week. And on Wednesday, 12:15, everyone is invited to come to taste the flavor that is going to be released the following week for free. Everyone that shows up have a cup of ice cream on Wednesday, 12:15. And so that flavor will then be proposed the following week, starting on Wednesday, as the drop of the week, essentially. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
Now you have a little secret.
Yeah,
we're gonna start a waiting list and an RSVP soon, so people will be able to book, and so we know how much ice cream we need to make. So we're gonna limit it to 50 people on Wednesday. But as we speak, as of today, end of June, it's still free. We still don't have a system in place, so it's good. You can come.
And so, like, what have you learned over the years, like through the evolution of all the things you're changing as far as the production, as far as just like, how has it evolved, and what have you learned?
Where do I need to start? And what concerns me the most is not what I've learned, Katie, is what I still have to learn. 18 years later, the conversation that my wife and I have is, we really don't understand anything. We're both students of the subject, and Giapo is our business. So we study it and we try to understand how to be more relevant every day to our people. So the focus is what is next to learn, and how come we didn't see this for the past 18 years? Those are the questions that every day my wife and I ask to ourselves. Looking back, how naive we were, how inexperienced, but also crazy to start a business without really knowing anything and just relying on your energy and your perseverance and your grit to make it through. If I look back, I don't know if I would do it again, to be honest, but because the energy that went through it's really not normal. It's exaggerated. Yeah.
Owning a business is crazy. And I mean, obviously, you have done it very successfully, like 18 years, and so much has changed over the last 18 years with the internet and social media and just trying to keep up with all of that. But honestly, I very much agree. One of the biggest things I've learned just as an adult is just like how much nobody knows what the heck we're doing. And it is also kind of comforting to admit that, I guess. And so I really like that attitude of looking forward to all of the things that you still have to learn. I think that's a very smart way to approach it.
Absolutely, Katie. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. Really, I look at my business, and I have a good pulse of it. 18 years is a good testament of the good work and how much customers love us, and the repeat, the loyalty, and the repeat people, and all of those. But there is so much I don't know, so many questions I don't even know. I need to ask myself to have an answer, to understand better what I'm doing. But I take one day at a time, and there you go. And this is really how you should face it. And every day you address a problem and you address something. And this is how you move forward. Looking back, and you say, wow, that was a long journey. And I remember every of these 18 years behind me and what I've learned in each of them. But I look forward and I see, wow, there is so much more I need to learn for what I would like to see Giapo to be, I don't know, in 20 years or 50 years.
Can you share any of that with us, like visions that you have and for the future, what we can expect?
Of course, Katie, look, I have big dreams for Giapo. And these big dreams have been in the making for the past 18 years. I would love to see Giapo scaling, to be honest, and to have it become a multi-site and having more locations. But then again, until we are sure of what we are doing, there is no point for us to rush into that. What else? I would love to do better as a business person, even though I define myself as an artist and a scientist. I would love to know more about the business side and how to take advantage of what we have been building for the past 18 years. You never finish to learn, you never finish to learn.
100%. How much ice cream are you eating on a daily basis or a weekly basis?
I love ice cream, but in reality, I really love my ice cream, Katie. So I don't really go out and eat anyone's ice cream unless I get like a recommendation or it's something that is intriguing and I see someone doing something special. And even with my ice cream, I taste most days, especially the new things. But probably I have an ice cream once, a full ice cream, I would say once a month, maybe twice. Yeah, but I do taste ice cream multiple times a week because it's available. Yeah, the thing is, you cannot really have an ice cream every day, every day, every day. Not in my area. So for me, ice cream is a treat. It's a right to be a treat.
That's fair, especially when you're working with it all the time. All right, so I've got some rapid fire questions for you. What's the most underrated ice cream or gelato flavor that nobody orders but should?
I think vanilla. Vanilla is underrated. Vanilla is amazing. Give me an example. Okay, they say, Giapo, you have to pick between six ice creams. We're going out together, you know. There are, I don't know, the fancy and all the this thing. But you say, Giapo, the guy makes a great vanilla. Then give me vanilla any day. Because if the vanilla is great, then tells me a lot about the place. If he uses real vanilla and the taste is right, and then everything takes another level. Because if someone can take the vanilla to a high level, then I expect everything else to be good. And I have a pretty sophisticated taste bud, trained, I would say, taste bud. So I can spot if it's a fake vanilla or, if the vanilla is good, to be honest, I think it's the best. I'm a fan. And I do make the strangest ice cream in the world. But I think vanilla still gives me an emotion.
Yeah, that's a great answer. That's a perfect answer. All right, cup or cone for you personally?
My cone every day, otherwise cup is fine.
Is there a flavor that you secretly judge people for ordering?
No, no. I don't judge anyone. No. No, never. Never, never judge.
Good answer. If you could only have one ice cream flavor for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I did say vanilla. Um, hmm, I'll probably stick with it. Go for it. Hokey Pokey. Hokey Pokey.
Best ice cream or gelato that you've had outside of your own shop? And where was it and what flavor was it?
Oh, wow. Wow. Pass. Let me think about it.
Last gelato that you ate, what was it? And when was it?
Last gelato that I had, well, it was at my place. Actually, I'm here in Los Angeles, and I don't know if you know, I work with Share, and we have an ice cream company here. So I work, and I made some ice cream yesterday as we're doing some experiments, and I did what is it called? Moringa. It's a new trend, super healthy, antioxidant, and all of those things. Moringa. It's green, very close to green tea. You gotta try. It's a little bit milder than green than matcha. It's milder than matcha, but apparently it has some other properties. I like it, I love good matcha, bitter matcha. For me, matcha has to be bitter, has to be intense. If you want something sweet and you buy my matcha, you won't like it because my matcha is bitter. We leave you like, "Ugh."
And then do you have any travel tips like that people can just like find online for New Zealand or Auckland? It doesn't have to be food related. It can be just any sort of like local tip.
Auckland is a wonderful city and you can do all the things that you want to do. We have a wonderful island just across called Waiheke and a few more islands a little bit further out, like Great Barrier, where you can really experience life off the grid. I don't even think there is power lines there, so everyone is running their own solar panels and things like that, and they're generating their own power there. What else? You can do a lot of extreme sports, you can bungee jumping and black and white water rafting. There is a lot to do, and we are a volcanic, this incredible parks, volcanic area. There is another island across us. I don't know if you remember. It's called Rangitoto, which is a volcano that you can walk through it and up to the cone. There is great food, great coffee, and incredible ice cream.
There is one question that I like to ask everybody who comes on, and that is,
Yes.
what would your last meal be?
What was my last meal? L'ultima cena. Oh my god. I think if I can ask anything, it doesn't really matter what is cooked. I would love my mom to cook it for me, whatever that is.
Did she have like a specialty dish?
Everything she was doing was amazing. My mom and my grandmother, I would love to see them both again as where I was when I was 10. Unfortunately, they both passed. So whatever they would make for me, even if it would be, I don't know, the simplest of all the dishes, but to see them together again, to cook for me, it would be amazing.
Oh, yeah, that is a great answer. Is there anything else that you want people to know about Giapo?
Giapo is an experience because at Giapo you can have ice cream in ways that you probably never had before. You can wear it, you can have an ice cream and use it to write and design and draw, and it can become a sculpture. You can use it to have your own selfies or as an art piece. We have changed not just how good ice cream is or how it tastes, how fresh it is. We have taken ice cream to another level because we wanted to demonstrate what freedom means for us. Ice cream had been experienced the same way for the past 85 years since it was invented. First in a cup, then in a cone, and then pretty much like that all the way through. And the Italian dogma really wants you to have ice cream their way. But when we started making ice cream, as soon as we understood that people were understanding what we were doing, we have applied our artistic touch to it. Both my wife and I, we did the classic and art school together. And so we start really changing ice cream and the way people experience it. So it's an experience to have, or at least to see, that goes beyond the taste of New Zealand and how fresh it is.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'll link everything in the description below, but can you tell people how to get in touch with you and how to come find you when they're in Auckland?
We are in Auckland. The address is 12 Gore Street, downtown, close to the Britomart precinct. Our Instagram is Giapo Kitchen, And I hope to see you there.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being here. Now I gotta go get an ice cream.
Katie, what a pleasure for having me, and for the conversation. I had fun, and thanks a lot for inviting me.
Huge thanks to Gianpaolo for this one. If you're in Auckland, make sure to head to Giapo's. Like he said, a new flavor drops every week. And for now, it is free on Wednesdays to go taste, so you want to take advantage of that. And they're not just serving up ice cream anymore. They brought back other food too, like sandwiches, pizza, lasagna, and everything is all gluten-free since their family lives entirely gluten-free themselves. So follow along at Giapo Kitchen and make sure to send this to the ice cream and gelato lover in your life. Subscribe if you didn't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.